Hello and welcome. So, you're diving into an aerospace engineering degree. You already know it's going to be a huge challenge. But one of the very first big decisions you've got to make is picking the right laptop. And look, this isn't just about grabbing a computer. It's about choosing your mission-critical co-pilot, a tool that's going to see you through some of the toughest coursework out there. So, let's get you ready for takeoff.
And that, right there, is the heart of it. This machine needs to be so much more than just fast. It has to be a partner you can count on. Just picture it. Those late-night coding sessions, the super complex fluid dynamic simulations, or trying to render a heavy CAD model of an entire aircraft wing. Your laptop has to be right there with you, performing like a champ without a single hiccup.
That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's not about the logo on the back or how much it costs. It really comes down to a very specific set of technical chops that can handle the unique stuff this field throws at you. So let's break down exactly what you need to be looking for.
Okay, now we're getting into the real nuts and bolts. Think of this as your pre-flight checklist for laptop hardware. These are the absolute non-negotiables, the core parts that are going to decide whether your machine can actually keep up with your degree.
Let's run through these 5 keys to success. First up, you need a strong multi-core CPU. That's the brain for running simulations and compiling code. Then, for all the visual stuff, a dedicated GPU is absolutely crucial for handling complex CAD software like SolidWorks or CATIA. You're also going to need a good amount of RAM to juggle those huge, intricate models, and a fast SSD so you're not waiting forever for projects to load. And maybe the most overlooked part, thermal stability. Your laptop has to perform under pressure for hours, not just in short little bursts.
Let's zoom in on RAM for a second, because this question comes up all the time. 16 gigabytes? That's the absolute minimum. Don't even think about less. It'll get you through your basic classes and some lighter CAD work. But, and this is a big but, if you're serious about running your own CFD or finite element analysis simulations, 32 gigabytes is the real sweet spot. Trust me, it's the difference between a smooth workflow and a machine that just grinds to a halt. And what about the whole Windows versus Mac debate? Well, it's true, a lot of the classic aerospace engineering software was built for Windows. But you know what? Don't count Mac OS out. With the right setup, maybe using your university's cloud labs or cross-platform tools, a Mac can be a totally viable, and for some people, a much better option. We'll actually look at a top contender in just a minute. All right, enough with the theory. Let's meet the actual machines. We're going to check out 4 of the top contenders for 2026, and each one is kind of tailored for a different type of student. These are your potential partners for the long journey ahead.
So here's our lineup at a glance. We've got the MacBook Pro, the Dell XPS, the ThinkPad P16, and the Zephyrus G14. You can see the trade-offs right away just by looking at the weight column. That powerhouse ThinkPad is almost twice as heavy as the super nimble Zephyrus. But the column you really want to pay attention to is Best 4. This is where you can start to see which machine might fit your style before we even get into the details.
First up, we've got the Dell XPS 15. This machine has been a favorite for engineering students for years, and for a really good reason. It just strikes this incredible balance between serious performance and a really sleek professional design that honestly fits in anywhere. The biggest pro is that it just works. It's a powerful Windows machine. It runs pretty much all the software you're going to need, right out of the box. The main downside? If you're pushing it really hard for a long time, like say a multi-hour simulation, it can get pretty hot. And that can cause something called thermal throttling, which is when the computer slows itself down to cool off. That's the last thing you want happening when you're on a deadline. So here's the bottom line. If you want a premium Windows laptop that doesn't scream, "I'm a gaming rig," but still has the muscle to back you up in class and in the lab, the XPS 15 is a fantastic, fantastic choice. All right, let's switch gears and head over to a completely different ecosystem. The MacBook Pro 16-inch, especially with that M4 Max chip, is an absolute monster of a machine. It's built for power, for efficiency, and for anyone who just loves that seamless Apple experience. The pros here are pretty legendary. The battery life is just incredible. It can seriously last all day, and the screen is beautiful, second to none. The cons are more on the practical side of things. You do have to be a little mindful of software compatibility, and yeah, the price for the top-end models can get pretty steep. And that really brings us to who this machine is for. If you're already in the Apple ecosystem, and this is key, your university gives you access to cloud-based labs or remote desktops for that Windows-only software, then the MacBook Pro is an exceptional, really premium choice. Now for something totally different. The Lenovo ThinkPad P16. This thing isn't just a laptop, it's a mobile workstation. This is the machine you get when your #1 priority is just raw, sustained performance for the absolute most demanding tasks you can think of.
You know, its greatest strength is also its greatest weakness. It's built like a tank so it can handle those long, complicated simulations without even breaking a sweat, which makes it incredibly reliable. But that also makes it heavy, bulky, and not exactly fun to carry across campus every single day. And battery life? Well, that definitely takes a backseat to pure power.
So who is this for? Well, it's for the student who puts performance above everything else. If your dorm room basically is your lab, and you're constantly running complex analyses right on your own machine, the ThinkPad P16 is just in a league of its own. And our final contender proves you don't always have to trade performance for portability. The ASUS Zephyrus G14 packs a serious punch in a package that's surprisingly small and light. Its main advantage is right there in the name, portability. At around 1.6 kilograms, it's the lightest one we've looked at, but it still has a really powerful processor and a dedicated RTX graphics card. The main trade-off here? A smaller 14-inch screen, which might feel a little cramped when you're working on really complex CAD models.
This machine is just perfect for the student who's always on the go, running from the classroom to the library to a late-night group study session. It gives you the power you need without weighing you down.
Okay, so we've looked at the specs, we've met the top contenders, but how do you actually, make the final call? Let's walk through a simple 3-step framework that will help you choose the right partner for your specific mission.
Okay, step 1. After you watch this, go to your university's engineering department website. I'm serious. They almost always list the exact software you're going to have to use, like SolidWorks or MATLAB. That's where you start. Step 2, be really honest with yourself about your lifestyle. How much are you actually going to be carrying this thing around? Find your personal sweet spot between raw power and easy portability. And third, think long-term. A good investment right now is going to support you all the way through your final senior design project.
And I think this quote just sums it up perfectly. The goal isn't to buy a machine that just limps across the finish line at graduation. The goal is to invest in a tool that actively helps you succeed, that saves you time, and, let's be honest, saves you a whole lot of frustration.
So, as you get ready to launch into this absolutely incredible field, the question is still there. Your journey is going to be demanding. It's going to push you to your limits. Which partner will you choose to fly with?